Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Elise. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to be talking about singleness. I did part 1, I did a part 2, and in tonight's video, it's actually nighttime as I'm filming this, so I'm a little bit tired, but I just know it's still going to be an awesome video. This is going to be part 3, and I did a Q&A. I asked you guys to submit your questions to me that you have in regards to singleness and being single, and you guys did. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what I, thought about these questions. I prayed and asked God, what do you think about these questions? And I just believe that He answered and He spoke, and that this video is going to be encouraging to both you guys and me. So get comfortable, grab a snack, grab a water. Let's just go ahead and get right into the video. All right, so question number 1. First question I got was, how do you let go of a good relationship that you just know isn't God's best for you? How do you not settle for something that you know isn't God's best? And how do you deal with the aftermath? That is such a good question. I have definitely walked through this and dealt with this personally, and firstly, it is not easy. It's one thing to let go of a hard relationship or a difficult relationship, or a relationship where the person wasn't treating you right, or where you were being abused, or you just associate that person with negative or bad. But when you have to let go of a relationship with a seemingly good enough person, with a relationship that was just great, like with a really good thing, when you have to part ways with something that you don't really have any hate associated with that person, you don't have any pain associated with that person, only good things, it's so hard. It's so hard to be nope, it's like cutting away something that was just your favorite thing. Let's say your favorite thing is coffee, or your favorite thing is donuts, and those things have some negative implications on your body that you probably don't see right away, right? You'll see them years and years and years and years later down the line. And so letting go of that thing that wasn't hurting you in the moment, it was only making you feel great, it was seemingly a good thing. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. You're why can't I have this thing? I love it. It was great. It made me happy. But God's you don't see what's going to happen down the line from that thing. You don't see why this isn't actually the best thing for you. You can't see it. And so God asks us to trust Him sometimes with those relationships when we are asked by God, to let it go. This is not my best for you. And it's just but God, it wasn't hurting me. It was a good thing. And He's trust me, I have something better for you. And you're what could be better than this? But deep down you knew, okay, they didn't have it all, they weren't exactly what I wanted, but they were good enough. And so I just want to say it's challenging, but you can do it. I've done it. It's possible, and you can do it. I just want to encourage you that you need people around you to support you, and you might not always get that support. People might not be asking and checking in and saying, how are you doing with this? But as much as you can, rely on, the people that are in your corner and opening up to them about how hard it truly is for you. You can have them pray with you. You can have them remind you of, your why and why you're letting that person go. I don't know. Sometimes it can feel like you're all alone with your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings, and all you want to do with everything in you is crawl back to that person that understood, that got you, that will make you feel better. And it's you can't go back to that person or to that thing. Rely on your friends, rely on your family who are super close to you, that want the best for you, and just tell them, be honest, be I'm thinking about this person, I want to reach out to them. And don't go back, don't return to the situation, because on the other side of letting go of that situation, on the other side of trusting God, in the midst of that breakup, there's a better version of yourself. There's a better version of you that is stronger, braver, just knows your worth and your value. Like, there are things that you might have been settling for in that relationship that you're not going to discover about yourself until you get out of it. So as painful as it is, know that greater is coming. Greater is on the other side. God wouldn't ask us to lay aside something if he didn't have something greater for us. And if there wasn't a greater reason for letting it go, then you could even see. You just have to trust him. And I'm trying to think practically. Definitely praying, definitely asking God to help you, definitely relying on your friends and your family. Also creative outlets such as like singing and journaling and writing, writing that person a letter that you're not going to send to them, or just crying and telling God, like, this is how I feel. And it might be hard in the beginning, but as time goes on, it does get easier. And as time goes on, you'll realize that person just, it wasn't all that. Like, in the moment, it seems like, yes, this is everything I want. But then, like, as you continue to let it go and give that situation to God, you kind of see the situation for what it truly was. And you're like, man, I didn't really want that, but I would have settled for it. But, I'm so glad I didn't. So I know it's hard. I know it's challenging, but you can get through it. A better you is waiting for you on the other side. The person that you truly, truly want is waiting for you on the other side. And so just be encouraged that you can do it. And just be really, really honest with yourself and with your family, your community, and with God, and you will get through it. All right, the next question is actually a really great one that I love. How do you let go of situations that you've been through that you always think about? Basically, how do you get over a guy that you were never even with? You just had hoped in the situation, but he wasn't the guy for you. How do you stop your mind from continuing to think about him? Such a good question. Such a good question. Such a good question. I don't know who can relate. Let me know in the comments, or simply by liking this video. But you've been in a situation with a guy that you thought liked you, and it turns out that he didn't. It turns out that it was all in your head. It turns out that you were the only one who had caught feelings, and the other person was just like playing games, or didn't really know what they wanted, or just weren't really being clear with their communication or with their actions of what their true intentions were. And so months down the line or weeks down the line, you're like, okay, this person's I'm gonna be in a relationship with them. They're like, that wasn't the case. It can really be really challenging to get over a person like that, because you can get your hopes up, you can, start to think about this person, and once reality hits and you're like, oh wait, this is not going the way that I had hoped, you kind of have to form like an exit strategy or an exit plan for your heart. Like, okay, heart, like, I know that you had hoped in this situation. I know that you thought that this was going to be something that was good for you, and it ended up not being. How do you get over that? How do you stop your heart from like romanticizing the situation and the person, and get yourself out and get yourself back on the road of, I'm single and I'm thriving, and that person wasn't for me, but God is going to send me someone great? What I have had to learn, because it can be so easy as a woman to meditate on something, whether it be good or bad, that you really don't have any business meditating on anymore. It can be easy to continue to think about and rethink about and analyze and reanalyze a situation that is no longer even worth your time or, worth your mental space. And so the thing that has helped me is to let it die, this concept of letting it die. It can be easy to kind of like go back to a situation in your mind, and kind of like a plant, you like water it. You want it to grow. You want it to continue to live You want it to thrive. You want to do all that you can to make sure that you did all that you could to make this thing work out. I think it's a part of our makeup and our DNA as women, and as caretakers and as nurturers, we are natural just cultivators, and we want to see things live and thrive. And we can do that to things that don't need to live or don't need to thrive. We can do it to any and anything, any and everything. But you have the choice and you have the ability to say no to the things that God doesn't want you to meditate on anymore. I'll just be a little vulnerable. There was a situation that I was in with a guy. I thought that he was interested in me, but it turns out that he was just interested in being my friend. And so without getting too much into it, like months and months and months down the line, I would still find myself thinking about this guy that I'm like, he's not thinking about me. Like, what the heck, Brittany? Like, you need to let it go. And I mean, months and months down the line, I feel like God ended up telling me, like, you need to let it die. You need to let it go. You're trying to still meditate on it and cultivate it and allow it to grow, but that wasn't what I had for you. Like, that was actually just to teach you a lesson about yourself, but that person's not meant to be in your life. It was just meant to teach you a lesson. And I didn't realize that at the time. I was like, oh, I did something wrong, and I wish I would have done something differently. But God was like I was just allowing you to grow through that season and to grow through that situation. But you gotta let it go. You gotta stop going back in that situation in your mind and trying to say, what can I do differently? Like, what can I do better? Not in that situation. That situation is over. Like, you gotta let it go. And so whenever you find yourself just like thinking about, a situation that you wish you could have done something differently about, just go ahead and tell yourself, like, that died. Like, that died. If it's a situation that has like nothing to do with your present, nothing to do with your future, for a fact, like, that person or that situation, it's never gonna be anything. Just mentally be like, oh, it died. Like, why am I thinking about that? Or like, you want to go to someone's like pictures or timeline, like, oh, that situation died. Like, what am I doing? There's no life in that situation anymore. I'm trying to bring life out of something that is already dead and gone. So I hope that helps you, that, whenever you're just stuck on a situation, like, just mentally be like, oh, that thing is dead. Let me think about something that's alive. Let me think about something that is real. Let me think about something that is actually in my life, and let me help that thing to grow. Let me help that thing to thrive. Focus on the right things, not the wrong things, because the wrong things will try to hold you back and tell you lies about yourself that aren't true. You have to know what's true about yourself and let go of those things that just didn't align with you. And it's okay. It's okay that those things weren't meant to, stick with you for life. Nothing against you and nothing against that situation or that person, but God has a special plan for you. God has a unique path for you, and God has, the right people that He wants you to be in connection with. And if some people don't make the cut, it's okay. If some situations don't make the cut, it's okay. But God has His best in line for you, and you just have to align your faith with that. Don't align your faith with the things that are dead and gone. Allow your faith to be in God's hands. And Scripture even says, no eye has seen, no ear has heard the great things that God has planned for you. And that's still true today. That's still true about tomorrow and in the years to come. So let your faith be in the hope of what is to come, and not things that, are no longer adding value to your life or serving a purpose in your life, especially in your mind, because that could be a weight, that could be a distraction for you. All right. Question number 3 actually came from a male. So he said, I want to believe in true love again. Do women genuinely know they have a good dude? Or are they just looking for tangibles, looking past the person and effort put forth? I would say that women do know when they genuinely have a good dude. I'm single, so I don't have, a good dude, but I could imagine that if I were dating a guy that had traits and qualities that were good, that I would be able to acknowledge it, you know? The only thing that comes to mind is maybe the type of women that you could be dating aren't looking for or don't appreciate a genuinely good guy. So that's what I would take a look at. Like, are you seeking and are you finding genuinely good women? Because I want to say that, you know, people match, you know? So if you are going out and you're looking for a genuinely good woman and you find her, then I'm pretty sure that she would be looking for a genuinely good guy as well. And maybe if you're looking for someone that's not a genuinely good woman and you find someone who her character is a little iffy, you know, her character traits are a little, you can't really trust that person, or there's qualities about her that just don't align with who you are, then that's not the right person for you. But I could imagine, you know, as a good woman, that if I were to find a guy that had, you know, good character traits, that I would appreciate that and know that about him. So, and the second part of your question was, or are they just looking for tangibles? Are they looking past the person and effort put forth? I don't think so. I mean, hopefully you're dating someone, or the woman that you date, they're mature women, you know, they're not like immature women who maybe they're thinking about little things that don't matter in life. But, you know, if you're a mature man, you're probably looking for a mature woman that, you know, you're trying to build something incredible with that'll last a lifetime. You're trying to build a family. You're trying to build for your children. You're trying to build your legacy and your business, or whatever it is that you're doing. I can't imagine a genuinely good person looking past the effort that you put into the relationship. And so, I don't know, it just begs the question, what kind of women are you dating? Because I'm curious to know. When I think about my friends and them being genuinely good people, I know that they're looking for genuinely good men, and that when they have that person in their lives, that they will appreciate that, and they will know that, they will recognize that, because that's what they have and what they carry. And so, yeah, I would say really probably take your time more when you're getting to know people, and make sure that you're finding someone that is genuine, so that they can know that you're genuine, and so that you guys can be equally yoked. Like, don't settle for someone, keyword, don't settle for someone that is not genuine, because then they'll overlook how genuine you are, and they will not appreciate you, and they will take you for granted. And so one way to avoid that, I would say, is to make sure you're finding someone that has similar values and beliefs as you, someone that has just the character traits that, you know, write down your character traits that you're looking for, and don't settle for anyone less. Because when you find that right person, or that right woman that is your equal, that, you know, isn't perfect but has put in the work to be the person that they are, and you can see that that's a lot of hard work that went into the person that they are, then when you come into their lives, they're going to be like, oh, you know, I appreciate that, because not everyone is like that. Not everyone is good. Not everyone is, you know, all the things that they will see in you, hopefully, the person that's asking this question. So continue to work on yourself. Make sure you're that person that you're looking for, and take your time when you're dating and selecting the woman that you're gonna be with, and make sure that she's compatible with you. All right, next question. Do you believe that there is a such thing as being single for too long? That's such a great question. Do I think that there's such thing as being single for too long? I mean, I don't think there is a such thing as being single for too long. If you think about it, there's being single and then there's being married. Is there a such thing as being married for too long? No. How could there be a such thing as being single for too long? You know what I mean? Like, there's two different ends of the coin, right? It's like black or white. It's like single or married. And so I would think that you would ask yourself that in the same breath, like, is there a time frame of when it is good or bad to be single? And is there a time frame of whether it's good or bad to be married? Like, I would consider them to be equally good things that God has given us. And I don't think that he ever mentioned how long one should be married. I don't think that he ever mentioned how long one should be single. And so I personally don't think there's a such thing as being single for too long. Just like I don't think there's such thing as being married for too long. And I don't think there's a such thing as being single for too short a time, you know, like, oh, they're too young to get married. Like, no. I think that it is a blessing, obviously, to be single. I think that if you want to get married, the longer you actually are single, the potential for your marriage is that much greater, as opposed to not being single and being in relationship after relationship after relationship, always being in a relationship, never learning how to be by yourself, never learning how to love yourself, never learning just really, really valuable lessons that you learn when it's like just you. Like, who are you as an individual? Who are you as an adult? Who are you as just a human being here on this planet without being connected emotionally, physically, and spiritually to another person? Like, when do you get the time to discover who you truly are if you're in a relationship, you know, all the time? So yeah, I would say that there's not a such thing as being single for too long, that you can be 40 and have been single your whole life. But guess what? You were in relationship with friends, you were in relationship with family, you were in relationship with yourself, you were in relationship with God. You were growing. You weren't stagnant. Like, you can learn how to not be selfish in community and with friends and with family. Like, everything that you can learn in a relationship, I'm pretty sure you can learn while being single with all of your friends and family. It all comes down to communication, trust, honesty, fairness. I mean, I'm pretty sure across the board, like, relationships are relationships, and to be in a relationship with a significant other is just another relationship that of course is unique and special, but you're using the same skills that you probably learned from your family or from your friendships and stuff like that, you know? So to answer that question, I don't think that there's a such thing as being single for too long. I think that you're still growing, you're still learning, you're still living life. And then when a person does come into your life, you just shift and adjust, just like everything else in life. When something new comes into your life that you've never experienced before, you just shift and adjust. It doesn't matter how much time you went without that thing being in your life. When it comes into your life, you just shift and adjust. That's what we humans do. We're great at it. We adapt. All right, this next question is like a two-part. So it says, do people prefer being single these days? Has society produced a perspective for us women that we are better off alone? Hence the independent woman persona that needs nothing from no one. So I'll answer the first one first. Do people prefer being single these days? I don't know. I do know that the average age that a woman gets married has significantly been pushed back, as well as for men, where people used to be getting married, you know, in between the ages of like 20 to 23 and younger, and now it's like 27, 28 is around the like average time that men and women are getting married in their lifespan. And that's definitely a big societal thing that has happened, but I wouldn't say that people prefer to be single, but that's just coming from my perspective. The people around me that I know and people older than me, they generally and genuinely do want to be in a relationship. I think that people, you know, appreciate being single, the people that are single, but then, you know, there's also the healthy desire to be in a relationship. I can't speak for a lot of males. I don't know what their mindset is like or what they think about relationships, romantic relationships at this age. But for myself and for like a lot of the other women that I know, like people genuinely, you know, do prefer or would like to be in relationships and don't necessarily prefer singleness over being in a relationship. But I do know people appreciate it, you know? Yeah, I know people, they take their time, they enjoy their life, and, you know, they date. But maybe, you know, some people like to just discover who they are before they, you know, settle down and discover what all life has to offer them. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, I just believe in God's perfect timing for all of us, and that if it is your desire to be married, that God has an awesome spouse that He's preparing for you. And in the meantime, I would just say to enjoy your life. There's nothing wrong with your life, and there's nothing missing from your life. If you desire to, you know, have a spouse, then, you know, continue to give that desire to God and know and trust that He's gonna fill it. But until then, like, don't worry about it. Like, try the mindset of I'm not worried about it. I've given this to God. In anything that kind of like bothers you or makes you question, just be like, oh, I'm not worried about it. Because it can be so easy to worry about it, and I think that's what gets us sad. That's what gets us kind of like worried, is when we're like, oh, when is this gonna happen? Like, that's worrying. That's not faith. That's the opposite of faith. That's doubting. So whenever that happens, just try to remind yourself, oh, I'm not worried about it. Like, it can creep up so quickly. And this is just something so new that I've learned, is to just like be like, oh, that's not for me to worry about. God's got that. You know, that is God's issue. Like, it's for me to just enjoy this singleness time. It's for me to just be happy and enjoy what God has placed inside my life. Like, my heart is set on what God has already done and what He's gonna do. It's not worried about what I don't see. It's in the here and now, and it's in the possibilities of what's to come. And just thinking about who God is, there's unlimited possibilities of what He can do. So just let your heart just remember that if it's in God's hands, that you don't have to worry about it, and just be like, oh, I'm not worried about it. Don't worry about it. You know, gotta tell yourself that. But yeah, the whole independent woman persona that needs nothing from no one. Yeah, I have seen that, and I would say to not let your heart get hardened, and to really lean on God, because it can seem like that. Like, you have to be like, oh, like, I got it. I don't need a guy. Like, you know, I figured out how to just live my life without a guy. So at this point, like, it's fine. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, I'm going to do me, you know, that. I would say don't let your heart be hardened, and, you know, the desires of your heart, like, continue to give those to God, and He's gonna fill those voids. He's gonna fill your life with exactly everything that you need. Like, you don't have to worry about how you're gonna provide, you know, for your family now or in the future. You don't have to worry about how you're going to, you know, move across the country. You don't have to worry about just like the big decisions in your life. Like, you can truly pray and ask God to do those things for you. And in a sense, God is the man in your life. In a sense, you don't have to have this hard persona of, I don't need a man because no man has been in my life. Well, God, he presents himself as our Father, and so you can truly rely on him as if he were the man in your life. And in that sense, you're not doing it all on your own. In that sense, you do need him, right? Because he's the one that's coming through with all of the prayers that you've been asking him. He's the one that's working with you to get your business off the ground and to the next level. He's the one that is providing all of the provisions in your life right now. So I would just say, don't let your heart be hardened. Like, open up your heart to God and rely on him, and watch as he continuously shows up for you in miraculous ways. You don't have to rely on yourself. You don't have to not have the faith that a man's going to come into your life. You don't have to be Miss Independent who can do it all her own. You can be Miss I don't got it at all, but I have a God who shows up for me every single day in the smallest of ways. And he does. He truly does. So be encouraged by that you don't have to pretend like you have it all together, or try to map out your life as that it's just going to be you. You know, that you have to depend on. Like, depend on God and know that he is going to bring absolutely everything that you need into your life, and let him, and be humble, and you know, just rely on him. I guess that's all I'll say. Continue to rely on God, and he will continue to sustain you and uphold you and take care of you. Well, guys, that was all the questions that I got. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that this video blessed you and encouraged you. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have a friend that you know should watch this video, go ahead and send it to them, brighten their day, encourage them. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.